We all go a little mad sometimes, especially in this movie. Yeah, there's a new one on Shudder where people go crazy, and it's kind of divisive, but let's talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a Shudder original that just came out, and it's called MadS, as in mad, crazy, lost your mind. You get it. But they spell it with M-A-D with a big S. What does that mean? Anyway, so I love films about crazy people. I love movies that try to attempt to have some sort of infection where everybody goes insane and does a lot of insane things. I have always been a fan of that kind of story, and there are very few films that can really tackle it as well as something like The Signal from the 2000s, where a bunch of people start going crazy. It was like a 3-part anthology that was all one story, but all these different characters throughout the whole film. And I think Bruckner was a part of that at the time. Great film about people going crazy. They do a really good job of sort of how the thought process of somebody would slip into irrational and rational thoughts, like in and out. And I thought that was genius, and I still think it's genius. It's one of my favorite movies to this day because of it. And I haven't quite been able to satiate that thirst for that kind of film. So when I see a new movie like this come out, I'm all about it. Now, there is some good stuff in here, but it isn't all fucking sunshine, you know, and it isn't all crazy sunshine. So what is MadS about anyway? Well, it's a French film, first of all, by David Moreau, who also did the movie Them, which is about some killer kids that go to a cottage and like mess with these wife and husband around vacation or something like that. Really brutal. It was actually kind of an underrated gem back in the day. Well, this is his new movie, and it's about this kid who goes to see his dealer, and the dealer there is giving him some sort of supply. And when he leaves, he's having a great time, ready to go to a big party to get everything for his friends, and he runs into a woman on the side of the road who is just walking about, acting really weird, screaming and crying in his car, and he can't get her out, so he takes her to the hospital, and some bad things happen where she gets blood all over the place, and that sets off a chain of events in this movie that goes all the way to the end. Now, this movie, I mean, it's pretty instantaneous. The cool thing about it is, one, it's a story about people going mad. They don't say whether it's the drugs or what this lady had, so you kind of have to like assume what's going on. And it's a oneer. It's a one-shot film, so they take one shot, follow a character, follow it all the way to the end without taking a single edit. And from what David Moreau said, this is a 100% authentic one-shot film. Now, I've seen a lot of one-shot films, and some of them are real, some of them have a cut in between them. It's a very difficult thing to do because you are essentially doing a play in real time, in real life, outside in the streets. This one goes from house to house to, you know, vehicle to car to bike, and everybody's following them. It takes so much coordination. I wonder how many times they had to do this to get that one shot. So there's something to be said about a film that can do it, period. But there are good ones, and then there are not so good ones. And I think this is somewhere in between. I saw a movie a couple of years ago called Soft and Quiet, which is probably one of the most intense one-shot films I've ever seen. It really was like just unsettling, and everything that happened in it was panicky. And this movie tries to establish that sort of mood where you're panicking and people are going crazy, but I don't think everybody pulled it off as well as I wanted and what I expect from seeing crazy people. Now, there was one actress in this movie who I think blew the fucking door off this fucking movie. She was fantastic. And the acting is actually pretty good in this movie too, so you're not going to see that many flaws in it. But where I really think it shines is when people lose their freaking mind. And she has the weirdest, crazy tics that you will ever see. And she comes in and out of her acting so fucking good, man. Like, I was really impressed with her performance, and knowing that this is a one-shot film just sends her to the top as far as I'm concerned. Now, other people did a good job too, don't get me wrong, but I just really think that she, in particular, who was one of the characters that they spend a lot of time with, is probably the best thing about this movie. And I think it's specifically because of her performance and their obvious coordination with this movie. However, this movie is graphic. It does have blood. There are things that happen in this movie that are dark, but they're not as gory or crazy as I really wanted them to be. And I understand that if you're doing a one-shot film, it's going to take that extra oomph. It's really hard to kind of balance. You know, I was entertained. There is suspense in this movie, and the movie hits the ground running as soon as it starts, all the way to the end, which is a good thing. But it also kind of felt like it could have done a lot more, and maybe some of the dialogue could have fit better with certain situations. You know, there are good parts in it that I did enjoy. Like I said, specifically that girl who was just fantastic. French films are always kind of bloody and gory, so I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, and it's got it in here. Don't get me wrong. They do some pretty heavy stuff in here, but I guess I was expecting just a little darker, and that's a real minor gripe, really. Where I think it kind of falls apart is there was some moments in the very beginning that I was kind of coming in and out of. But when that girl picked it up, it really kind of took the story and kind of rolled with it, and I think she just did such a great job. It was really good to see her performance. While this movie is good and it has great things about it, and they did a good job of coordinating it, it isn't 100% perfect. So there's going to be people that may find it boring. They may not understand that it's a one-shot film. They may not care that it's a one-shot film. They just want to be entertained. So, but I think there's something to be said about having a one-shot film and making it interesting. And I think it's above average. I think it's a well above average what a lot of films try to do, especially with the budget that this film probably had. This movie, I would say, is probably about a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10. For me, that could be lower on some people's score if they're not interested. I would definitely rewatch this movie again because I like that sort of genre or subgenre of crazy people going all over the place. But it didn't end as perfectly as I liked, but it is dark and there's something to be said about it. So I think you should definitely check it out if you have a Shudder subscription at the very least, but your experience may waver a little bit. I don't think it's a terrible movie. You know, there's some people that are gonna probably hate it, but you know, that's just the way it is. I think it's worth a watch if you like found footagey kind of films, because it kind of feels like it's following someone like that, but it's done in a movie way. So it's just following the characters because it feels authentic. Yeah. I would love to hear what you guys think. Have you seen this movie yet? Did you enjoy it? Did you like the girl as much as I did in the film, or were you more partial to one of the other characters? Also, what is one of your favorite single shot, one-er shot films that you've ever seen? Is there one outside of the genre that you really like, or one in horror that you really like? Maybe I'll cover it on the channel here in the future if you think it's that good. I would love to hear what you think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and the little bell notification to let you know that I got a brand new video out. Happy Halloween, everybody, and we're going to continue on. I have so much content, I am having trouble getting it all out. I've got interviews, I've got movies that scared us when we were kids with a special guest, and so much more. So I hope to see you around, and thanks for coming by. But as always, long live the void.